Alright, so let's continue this trend of easily put together gameplay commentaries and talk about aim assist. Aim assist is a very sticky conversation to have with people these days because, well, one of the most bread and butter skills in any FPS game is the ability to aim, and so the discussion about software helping you aim is going to be kind of contentious. Over the years, I've heard it all. Aim assist is basically cheating, you can't complain about the game if you use aim assist is unnatural. I've been made fun of for using it in various video games for a long time, and because of crossplay, it really blew up as a topic because crossplay implies that you're going to be playing with people that don't have any software-assisted aim. But of course, it wouldn't be contentious unless there was another side, and the other side, of course, is the side of people that really don't like having all of their skill discredited because their aim assist slows down their sensitivity or rotates their aim slightly. There are some people that truly believe that aim assist in Call of Duty multiplayer snaps onto target if you aim next to them. I honestly think the only shooters I own that do that are like Rockstar games and DICE shooters. But to say aim assist is cheating, unfair, or is basically training wheels is devaluing a lot of my skill and a lot of my kills I've gotten since like 2010, so I'm gonna take a little bit of issue with it. But you see, aim assist is no accident. There's a reason it's in all these console shooters and controller shooters. The reason is, analog sticks are terribly inaccurate. Like, you can get used to them without aim assist. I played a lot of console Siege and it's totally doable. But analog sticks are really finicky and they're hard to master and they are hard to stay good at. Because if you're not in tune with your controller, you don't have that muscle memory, you've taken a couple weeks break or whatever, you're gonna be under and over aiming and sweeping past targets constantly. That's why the most often used form of aim assist is aim assist slowdown, which I believe should be the primary and only form of aim assist, but we'll get to that in a second. Aim assist slowdown essentially takes your iron sights, your scope, or whatever, and once you get, to a little bubble around your enemy or on your enemy, it slows down your sensitivity. One of the reasons console players look so aimbotty these days is a lot of shooters allow you to slow down your aim down sight sensitivity, as well as having that slow down aim assist, so somebody will be cranking around with 10 sensitivity, go to aim at you, and their sight seems to completely stop. And that's because their aim down sight sensitivity might be a 4 when their normal is a 10, and then the aim assist kicks in on top of that, and they're aiming with like a 3.5 sensitivity. It does look unnatural, but really it's just a dynamic sensitivity change. I think the problem that most people have is with aim assist rotation, which is when you are aimed at a moving opponent, and most games require you to move to activate this, but you're aiming at a moving opponent and it moves your center reticle, your iron sight, onto them. It actually physically moves your sight a decent amount to track a fast moving target. And this is of course implemented because developers understand how different it is to control a shooter with a controller than it is like a mouse. Again, an analog stick has a very small surface area and you have to be very, very precise with only one appendage, your thumb. If you're playing with a mouse, you have your entire arm, you have your shoulder, you can sit differently to get different poses and, for different types of gameplay. You can have a really, really long mouse pad, like a foot long or more, which gives you tons of surface area. Then you're using your wrist and your fingertips to aim and make precise adjustments, and it's a whole different thing than move analog stick either a little or a lot. Now there are products that can help with this. Control Freak precision rings and Control Freak thumb grips are really, really quality products that give you increased range of motion, helps you with tension so you don't under and over aim. But those of course are more band-aid fixes on top of, well, a pretty archaic way of playing video games. People like controllers because they're comfortable with them, or they like the form factor or the squishy triggers. They like using it. I'm not gonna get into what people should and shouldn't like, that's a dumb video to make. And this topic is always going to be contentious because a lot of people see aim assist as something like training wheels on a bike. If you're gonna learn how to ride a bike, eventually you're gonna take your training wheels off, right? But comparing aim assist to something like training wheels would make sense if taking off your training wheels made it so you always miss your turn when riding. Now, I was talking about the different types of aim assist, and the one I left out is the one that I hate the most, especially when it's strong. Snap aim assist. I recently just played through the entire Modern Warfare 2019 campaign on realism difficulty without any aim assist. Do you want to know why? Raven, in their infinite wisdom, when they updated the Modern Warfare menus for more Warzone settings, of course everything but an FOV slider, They removed the ability to turn off auto-targeting, which is something in almost every Call of Duty campaign in Zombies mode. It's never been in the multiplayer. You can't snap onto targets in multiplayer, but I can't turn it off in Modern Warfare 2019 now unless I turn off all of the aim assist. And I hate snap aim so much. I would rather play without aim assist at all and over and undershoot sometimes than have to deal with the software deciding who I'm supposed to be looking at. It is so hand-holdy and I hate it. I've done multiple videos about why free aim is better in Red Dead Online, and I stand by all of them. I know that in real life, pointing a weapon at something is very intuitive. It's like pointing your finger. The weapon should, if you're confident with it, become an extension of yourself. But in video games, aiming at a target should require some semblance of skill because the other parts of ballistics likely aren't being taken into account. So to make me feel like I'm succeeding and getting better, you have to, I don't know, not aim for me. Slow down my sensitivity, I guess rotate the center of my screen, but do not go, oh, you were trying to look at the enemy, but you didn't, pal. Here you go, and snap me over to the left or right. That's annoying. I hate the idea that whenever I turn snap aim assist off in a game like Battlefield 2042, I'm losing gunfights because the person in front of me literally didn't have to drag his sight onto me. He just got to snap next to my shoulder and go right to my chest. And I absolutely hate that. It just takes away so much agency, and I don't think it has any place in a competitive multiplayer environment, but aim assist isn't the issue. In my opinion, the aim assist topic, while always existing, became a problem when crossplay was introduced, and here's a hot take. Some devices weren't made to play with each other, and I'm speaking as somebody who has actively benefited from crossplay. There are friends I play with because of crossplay. I was able to play with my friends because of crossplay when I was playing on PC. I actively benefit from it all the time. But there is such a huge gameplay disconnect between controlling a shooter with a mouse and keyboard and a controller. A well-informed PC player will know that controllers are inherently limited and that aim assist is a band-aid fix. Sometimes it's too strong of a band-aid fix, but it is a band-aid fix for inferior hardware. But they still know that software is impacting your aim in a gunfight, and in a one-on-one, mid to close range gunfight, that aim assist is helping you. And again, on paper, software is helping my opponent aim does not sit well with people. But on the flip side, controller users know how limiting their monkey sticks are, and when they think of a keyboard and mouse, they think of so much increased versatility, especially if the person on controller is using a standard, no extra buttons, no extra paddles controller. They're just using a stock one, going up against somebody with a keyboard and mouse, with that range of motion, that precision, that skill ceiling that goes up through the fucking moon. If you have a foot of space on your desk and a good mouse, you are going to be so much more precise, especially with practice, than a controller user can ever truly be. You don't need to wait for slowdown or rotation. You can snap to people with intuitive pointing motions that your body wants to do with your arm and hand and fingers. But of course, it's your arm and hand and fingers, not software. Honestly, this is why I think input-based matchmaking should be a thing, or that crossplay should be rethought entirely, because some things just aren't compatible. In a competitive space, you want to feel like the people you're fighting against are on a more level playing field. I made a very stupidly controversial video a while back talking about how console is more competitive. And the reason I said that was at the time, and this is still the case, there is less variance between hardware. You're likely battling somebody with at best a 120 Hz screen and a back-paddled controller and a really nice headset. On the lower end, a 60 Hz screen, a default controller, and, earbuds, I guess, whatever. Whereas when you're playing a crossplay game, you see that someone's on PC, you don't know if they have a little 60 Hz monitor and maybe like 6 inches of mouse pad space and a mouse that's broken, or they're fucking playing on a 240 Hz monitor, playing on a machine that can pump out those frames with 24 inches of desk real estate for their mouse. So when people that have all of this potential to increase the quality of their setup over time, to upgrade their PCs and their monitors, their keyboard, their mice, their desk space, and then they go online and complain that controller users have aim assist, especially in games where it's really just slowdown and rotation, or depending on the setting, might just be slowdown, I don't know, it's a hard sell. I think controller-only matchmaking and keyboard mouse-only matchmaking should be available in every single shooter. I don't mind playing against PC users or PlayStation users, but I feel like the main bottleneck, the main input method, should be much more heavily considered when creating these matchmaking systems. You know, back when like Call of Duty was just on whatever platform you were on and there was no crossplay, you were playing against other Xbox 360 users or Xbox One users or whatever, the only people that were turning aim assist off were the people that played better with it, because they felt it to be a hindrance. Or they saw it as something that was too handholdy and they wanted to earn their kills. At least those are the opinions I heard back in the day. I think the topic blew up because now you have these disjointed methods of aiming and shooting. It's not the same people with the same inferior control method all utilizing the same potential band-aid fixes. You have entire different ecosystems of gaming interacting with each other. And if you think games don't play differently on keyboard and mouse versus controller, then you don't have enough experience to chime in on the conversation. I've played on both. I spent last year on PC, I went back to Xbox because my PC's a little too old for modern games, and my Series X and my PC allow me to have like a dual PC setup, and I am comfortable on controller, but I do miss the versatility of that mouse. For me and many others, there are pros and cons to both, and there are definitely a lot of nuances that I can't get into here. But let me just make something clear to the people that defend aim assist tooth and nail. Imagine you go to a science fair, and you, being smart and well-equipped, have a really intricate project to show off. But imagine when all of them are graded later on, somebody grades higher than you. Someone who has generally lower grades than you, someone with way less access to the fancy equipment that you use, but they had help. Like, yeah, they won, and you don't know how much it was really helping or whatever, but it's still that nagging feeling like, I have the better equipment, I don't get any help, and yet you're grading higher than me. It sounds worse on paper than it truly is in practice. In practice, there are so many nuances, pros and cons, and there's really two important sides of the debate. But I do think there is only one solution, and that is input-based matchmaking, especially in ranked games. Also, the solution is to tell DICE to stop making FPS games with snap aim. I do not need you to snap my reticle on to an enemy in a multiplayer environment. DICE, it has been years of this, you need to stop. There's a difference between software helping you aim and software aiming for you. And obviously, in fast time to kill games, getting your sight on faster is a pretty severe advantage. But it's also a huge stupid mess when you're fighting multiple opponents and you literally cannot target prioritize because the game keeps trying to snap you onto the wrong person. Just get rid of it. But I think when everybody has the same potential or the same limitation, I think we can all accept people's band-aid fixes. We can all accept people's skill level when it comes down to what they're playing with and what they're playing on. It sounds gatekeepy, it sounds overbearing, but not everything is compatible with something else. And in competitive environments, which is what this video is primarily about, the fewer variables you have to worry about in a gunfight when it comes to what your player is aiming with or how they're aiming or what settings are turned on for them or how big their mouse pad is, the better. The fewer of that, the less of that, the better. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments section below, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.